So, hello, it's Chris from Maid of Stone, and I am honoured to be joined by Julian and Becky from Fury.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well. Happy to be chatting to you.
Thank you for joining me on this Sunday. So, for anyone who doesn't know about Fury, tell me the Fury story.
So let's see. We've been going for about, what year are we in now? So probably about 11 years, sort of, 12 years. We put out 4 albums, 2 EPs. The band has evolved quite a lot since, our first EP came out in 2011, and then since then, the band's evolved a lot. Lineup changes, but I think we've kind of got to a point now where the band it's in its final kind of form. Well, I hope so. Anyway, not any more changes. It's a pain in the ass. But like it's with all the members that are in the band now, and we went recently from last year we went from being a 4-piece to a 5-piece, and we got Naya in on vocals as well. It feels like we've really hit, like I say, our final form. And in terms of the style, I mean, we've kind of bounced around all over the kind of traditional metal, sort of spectrum. At the moment, it's like heavy metal, rock and roll. People call it no nonsense, straightforward rock and roll, I guess, sort of thing. Lots of heavy, fast riffs, guitar solos, wailing vocals, fast drums, ridiculous fills. I don't know.
Definitely a fun band, and I think, as Julian said, it's evolved quite a bit over the years. I think that the gap between like the second and the third album, there was almost a complete lineup change. It was only Julian that remained from the before times. And there was a bit of a change in how the band was going to like make music and stuff. But we released that album during the lockdown, and so then we had even more time to kind of ruminate on like a new album and stuff. So there's been a big change since like 2018 and stuff. And so it feels like there's new life in the band, and having new members like Naya making it now a 5-piece, there is just a lot more energy in, and it feels like a new band, even though it's really not.
So what was the kind of thinking with bringing Naya in? Obviously she was a fairly big part of the band anyway, but what were your kind of thoughts behind it?
So basically, throughout our kind of releases, like albums, we've been steadily getting more and more layers of vocals on it. And it's mainly down to Pete Newdeck, who's our sort of producer kind of guy. And he's mixed all the albums and recorded vocals with him, all sorts of stuff. I mean, he's in Vega, and he was in Midnight City. So I mean, he's fantastic. He's big. He loves his backing vocals, right? He loves layers of vocals. Okay. And so his influence was, you should add more backing vocals here. And first of all, I was like, I don't know, backing vocals, it's not very metal, is it? But then the more, I kind of sort of grew as a musician, and then I was like, okay, well, we'll put some on here. And then, especially when it came to, again, the grand prize and his last album, I was like, all right, we've got, ideas for this and this and this. And then, obviously, we came to know Naya around a similar kind of time. Is a weird way to put it. But like, and so she kind of helped with the grand prize stuff. She kind of helped come up with maybe some of the ideas of what the harmonies would be and things like that. And then she was on a couple of the tracks because it just made sense. And then with Born to Sin, we sort of knew that, okay, we want, it became part of the fabric of the sound. So we wanted backing vocals on pretty much all the songs. And then it was like, okay, well, we went out on the road, and this was the start of last year with the Born to Sin album. And then it was like, well, we need someone to do these vocals live. And first of all, it was like, kind of Naya was in the band as a sort of, we call them an auxiliary kind of member, where she'd do the dates that she could do, but we never really thought about, okay, this is going to be a 5-piece now. But we did a handful of dates, and it was like, this just works. It sounds fantastic. We got loads of great reviews. People saying that she breathes a new life into the band, new energy. Brings that sort of thing. And it was like, it just felt right. And obviously, it's a big step, like you're sort of changing the dynamic of the band. But it just felt right.
so save your spot by the fire. By the fire. By the fire.
If you had to pick 3 Fury songs for a Fury newbie to get them into, what 3 kind of sum up everything about you or encapsulate everything about you?
Oof, that's difficult. I guess Burnout.
Yeah.
It's got to be Burnout, isn't
Always
it?
go for
Yeah,
that.
everyone loves Burnout. Ooh, 3 songs. Oh my goodness.
I would probably go for 2 ends of the spectrum and say Upon the Lonesome Tide and Born to Sin. So
Cool,
you've
yeah.
got like proper like thrashy fast thing, which is some of our songs are more like that, and then a kind of Disney like orchestrated like ballad about love and stuff. So one
And
about like
pirates,
drinking.
and pirates.
Oh, pirates,
Love and pirates.
love and pirates, and then the other one about
Pirates.
like drinking beer. So
Yeah. Drinking beer and partying.
Well,
Yeah, no, this was
and
really
one
good.
about breaking down, which is what what
Yeah,
seems to
you know
happen
what?
to us.
Yeah, I think that is very good. It's
That sums up our whole career.
yeah. Vehicle troubles. No,
Drinking
you're
and
right.
partying
Yeah,
and pirates.
yeah, no, that is.
Do
That's,
you have any other suggestions?
no, I think that's good. Like, I mean, yeah.
Born to Sin came out last year.
Mhm.
How has it been received on the road?
Really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the set, I guess, would be Born to Sin songs, and it's quite hard to pick a set list from that album, because when we ask people like what your favorite songs from the album, a lot of people say different songs. So I mean, there's a few that are staples that are just more they just lend themselves more to being played live. They're more like kind of party upbeat kind of stuff, but it's been going really well on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. It's as Becky said, lots of people have got different sort of favorites, and I guess you start sort of feeling out, okay, well, what songs like really work in the set, and I mean at the moment, I mean Embrace the Demons is probably the most popular I've seen.
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean that got to number 1 in the Primordial sort of chart a few weeks back,
Okay.
which is amazing. Especially considering we hadn't really pushed it as a single, so someone obviously just played it, people heard it and liked it. So but really well. I mean, the album as a whole, got really great reviews, which is always fantastic, because there's always that sort of trepidation before you release an album, or you start sending it out to reviewers, and you go, well, I think it's good. It sounds good to me. Yeah, I like it. But you're kind of waiting for those kind of reviews back, and it was just it got sort of 9 and even 10 out of 10s kind of across the board. So I don't think I saw a review that was under 9 out of 10, which is incredible. It's like, wow. Really well, and been enjoying playing it live. So the set at the moment is largely made up of stuff from Born to Sin and the Grand Prize.
Mm-hmm.
Again, going with that, it's almost like I say, a new band now since kind of the Grand Prize onwards, and that isn't to say that we're not hiding away the old stuff, or I mean, all right, we're not playing a lot of it at the moment, but you've got to play what's new, and you've got to play what works, and this stuff all supposed to work together. So we're having a great time, playing all the new stuff, and even more new ideas on the way. So
what are your goals? And if you could sort of briefly, both of you individually as musicians, artists, and what are your goals for Fury? And what is kind of success for you guys?
I guess it would be to be able to work on the band full time, for every member to have, I don't know, be somewhat financially supported by the band, enough to be able to freely give their time to the band whenever it is needed, if you know what I mean. So like, getting to the point where the shows are, I don't know, worth doing, and the sales of the album are supporting us as well. I don't know, it's kind of like, it's difficult to really say what the thing is. You just kind of always want more. Whenever you get to that point, then you want more again. And so I don't know, I guess I would like for us to be able to get into a regular like album cycle, know that like we were going to be supported by maybe distributors and stuff, so that, you know, we have a bit less pressure on ourselves to you know, sell the album ourselves, like web store and stuff, and we could like get it into some music stores in like physical music stores and things. I don't know, that would be kind of my next plans, and I'd love to be able to play with some bigger bands. Like I think our plan for probably next year would be to try and get on some like support tours for bigger bands. But I don't know, like, as a musician, like I've never really been like, oh, I just want to be like this famous or whatever. It's always just been like, I want to just be able to make it my job, and I want this to be my job every day, and for all of my friends in the band as well. So yeah, that's kind of what I aim for in the band, really.
I mean, you seem to be very down to earth, obviously, just from the impression we get from social media. I mean, you know, thinking about sort of your kind of side projects with things like Merciful Fate. I mean, you play in front of huge crowds. You know, it must be like a completely different world sometimes, and then you kind of back down with the job. You seem to handle it very, very well. I mean, how does that kind of feel?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of strange going from such a big team to a small team, and like bigger audiences to a smaller audience. But really, like, as long as everyone's enjoying the music, if the audience that are there, they may be small, but like if they're having a great time, then you're having a great time when you're playing it. And you know that there's, even though the Fury reach fewer people with music releases, there are people that we do reach, and the comments that they say about like, oh yeah, this album got me through lockdown, and you know, this song is very special to me. It kind of makes it feel worth it, even if sometimes it's very frustrating being in a small band. And yeah, it's kind of hard to like rationalize, like, is it all worth it? Like, why isn't this working or something? You know, you have these kind of moments of doubt. But yeah, when you kind of hear the response from people who really do love the band, you're like, oh yeah, no, this is really cool. It's still worth it. And you know, I just hope that I get back to those kinds of stages again, but with Fury in some way. I
think what's quite very encouraging as well is, you know, looking at, I mean, going from things like obviously, you know, gig attendances, or you know, like our online sales, things like that. Like we there is a growth, and there's been a lot of growth again since 2020, especially. Consistently, yeah, very consistent. And you know, I guess when you're sort of living in it, it feels like a long time, but actually when you look at, well, that's only just over 2 years really that's grown. So that's very encouraging as well.
It does feel like you guys are definitely picking up a momentum. Does it, to an outside, to a fan, does it feel the same to you guys in the band?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think before we came back from kind of lockdown, I was, I don't know, I was a bit unsure as to kind of where we were. I mean, obviously when we put the grand prize out, there'd been a 4-year gap between the grand prize and when Lost in Space came out. And obviously the band had been through so many changes, and it was a bit like, I you know, kind of, where are we? Do people know who we are? Do we have a fan base? All that sort of stuff. But yeah, but ever since then, and especially when we came back to gigging, and especially last year as well, we played all over, and we got like decent attendances, you know, shows all over the UK, and even in Europe, you know, and people just responded to it really well. Like, and you know, people just, I mean, we did that festival in, was it the one in Theme in France, and like as soon as we got off stage, the people there were just, they were ravenous for the CD. They in fact, by the time we got back to the merch stand, they had like the CDs in hand. They wanted them, and they were, you know, and it's, yeah, and in general, it feels like the band has grown so much, and yeah, it feels great.
So pleased to have you for Maid of Stone. What are your expectations?
It looks like a really cool lineup. So I hope that, you know, the local people and, you know, people traveling will kind of really grab onto this opportunity to have a great festival in that area of the country. But you know, it looks like it's really well put together so far, and the bands are looking great. So I don't know, I'm hoping for nice sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's as Becky said, it's because it's all so new and everything. Fun. I hope it's going to be fun. I think it will be fun.
Oh yeah, the Hot Damn are playing on after us as well, and
Yeah.
they're a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a really cool kick-off day for the festival.
I think it kind of grew from, the idea was we would have a kind of campsite party on the Friday, just a little low-key thing. And then it started to grow and then mushroom and became this, and we really wanted to make a kind of statement. And I was very keen to get fun bands, as you say, yourself, Hot Damn. You know, I wanted to kind of start the event as we mean to go on.
It's my mission to get at least one person to say that Friday night was their favourite night of the festival. There you go.
Yeah.
Even if it's me.
Even if it's you, that's it. That's it.
Every night when we left the stage, they always wanted more. They took it all. Sex, drugs, rock and roll.
What is the best thing about what you guys do?
Playing live. I mean, are you asking that as the best thing in terms of what are we best at, or what feels the best?
What feels the best?
Feels the best, yeah. Playing live, 100%. That's for me. That's why I started playing music and got into a band. It's all about that experience and that sort of energy transfer. And when you're on stage and, like I say, the crowd are into it, they're enjoying it a little bit, things are going well. There's nothing else like it. Fantastic.
Yeah, I think the whole, I don't know, you just like, okay, you have to write a song so you can do an album, so that you can do a tour, so that you can play live. And then, you know, everything is all about like just being able to keep it going and, you know, play to more people. But as I said, like before, it's not about how many people are there, but it's just, you know, when the whole audience is kind of like bright people, finding the right audience for you. Like, I'm sure we played some very like inappropriate like shows where it's kind of dead and people are like, what is going on stage? Especially if you play metal and you accidentally get booked for something that was really not that metal. I've been there so many times. But yeah, being able to be found by the right audience, be found by the right people that really connect with your music, and being able to play to them is the best thing.
See, this is why we have ballads though, because I've done it before where, you know, people are watching us and they're sort of thinking, I'm not sure. And then we get to the ballad, right? And it all goes quiet and you get the strings and, you know, sing along. And they go, oh, I quite like this. And it's funny, but that's what's good about having that kind of that variety of stuff, because if they're not into sort of this side of it, then okay, wait till halfway through the set and then you get a ballad and then they're like, oh yeah, actually, now and maybe then they get a bit more into other stuff as well.
It breaks down that kind of like instinctive, oh, it's a metal band, and then you show a bit of something else, and then they're like, oh, okay, maybe there are some things that I'm into, and then the rest of the set, even though then you play the heavy stuff afterwards, they're like, I'm sold now. It's all good. I like it.
But yeah, for us, it's all about playing live, having fun, because it's the best thing. It's rock and roll.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where can everybody find Fury?
Facebook.com/Fury Official. That's probably our main channel.
Yeah. And there's a furyofficial.co.uk. That's our website. You can find our web store and our tour dates on there. And I think there's some links to newsletter and other things on there.
We are on.
Everything's on Spotify, isn't it? All the albums.
Yeah.
I would suggest search like Fury, the Grand Prize, or Fury Born to Sing, because there's a load of bands called Fury, and you may find the wrong one and be like, this is not actually at all like they described. That's because it's the wrong band. So yeah, search for one of our albums, like Born to Sin, and then you should find the right one.
Yeah, something like the silly idea about calling the band Fury, but that was before Google rankings and Spotify searches and
yeah, it's that old.
Cool. Thank you so much, guys. Obviously, Fury are opening the entire event on the Friday nights. That's Friday, the 21st of July. I have to get that right. And yeah, we look forward to welcoming you guys to the park.
Thank you very much.
very
Look forward to
much.
being there.
Can't
Awesome.
wait.
I can't stop from burning now.